Oh look, I put a spoiler warning because I'm not an arsehole. In this video there will be potential spoilers for any film that I talk about and the franchise within that film too, so please enjoy the video and there's your warning. Have you noticed every single YouTuber does that before they start a video, so I thought I would jump on the trend. What's up everyone, my name's Jim Bob, how the hell are ya? So I thought I would do a quick filler video because I know that my normal reviews do take a long time to edit. If you notice, I'm uploading probably every 3 weeks to a month at this point. Because of lack of motivation and just everything else that goes on in a general person's life. So I thought I have to do more of these filler videos just to sort of fill in the gaps. And I know I've said this before, but I really mean it this time. Promise. 100% legitimately promise. So I thought I would take a look at some of my old videos and see if I still have that same opinion. Do I still resonate with that sort of thing right now? You know, because opinions change, opinions are subjective. And I just want to see if I agree with myself. So I've chosen a select few videos which I made in the past, and I'm going to sort of react to them and roast myself, possibly. So let's have a look at my playlist, shall we? Cringy old videos. Oh shit, look at that. What else is in here? Okay. This was when I used to be more consistent, back when it was just me with that like blank background, if you can see it in the background right there. Okay, so the first video I've chosen to watch is something that I titled Short Reviews, and in this video I talk about Terminator Dark Fate, Frozen 2, Doctor Sleep, Knives Out, and a couple more films that came out that year. This is 2019, back when life was more simple. So yeah, I'm just going to go through this, some of the reviews that I make in this video and see if I still agree with them. So I think the first one is Terminator Dark Fate. Let's take a look. Guys, I've listed it down in the description what film I'm going to be talking about and what time in the video I'm going to be talking about that film, so that way you won't ruin I won't ruin the film for you. Anyway, here we go. Terminator Dark Fate. What I can respect about the film is that it tried a different approach. It tried doing something risky. Whether it worked is completely up to you, but to me, I'm not sure quite what I mean when I say different approach, because Terminator Dark Fate pretty much followed the same formula as every other Terminator film. You know, like there's someone of great importance. A Terminator is sent to that time to kill that person, and Terminator Dark Fate just followed that one again. It practically remade T1 and 2, but worse. So, not sure I agree with what I just said there. For me, it kind of worked, but it does piss you off. Young John Connor. No. Am I about to say that? It kind of worked that they killed off John Connor, because no, that did not work at all. It was risky and it was ballsy and it was just a terrible idea. Excellent, excellent de-aging facial software. I will agree with that though. The de-aging software was pretty good. Well, he gets killed by what I believe is a T800. I can't remember T800, yeah. And if it's a T800, T1000, don't really care. Young Arnold Schwarzenegger kills young John Connor. Because this is basically retconning everything that happened post Judgment Day. So Judgment Day did happen regardless, which is the same as what happened in T3. This film to me is better than T3. I wasn't sure. Do I think it's better than T3? I can't say for sure because I've only watched Dark Fate and T3 once, so I have to watch them again to see which one I prefer. But I do know that looking back on Dark Fate, there's a lot of things that I did like about it when I first watched it, and now I just bombardedly disagree with. What to think about young John dying at first, because it was like, okay, oh, shit. So if he never leaves the Resistance, then how the Terminator is still involved in this? It does clarify something afterwards, but I'll get into that in just a second. So because John... Yeah, Legion makes no sense, like just this new organisation that just shows up. And, I don't know. Jim Bob doesn't know what he's talking about in this review, by the way. This Jim Bob right here is older, wiser, more experienced. I've been to Mordor and back. I've destroyed the ring. I've brought balance to the Force. I've destroyed Lord Voldemort and destroyed all the Horcruxes. I am a legend at this point. John Connor is dead. Judgment Day happened. But for some reason in this film, unless I missed something, there is now this ultimate organisation called Legion. And Legion are now the ones which are at war with a human resistance led by someone completely different. So, is Skynet still a thing? Did Skynet get stopped, or did it just emerge into something else as time went on? It doesn't really clarify that. I think it emerged into something different as time went on. I mean, Skynet was stopped by Sarah and John and Arnold in the in T2, and then something else happened, and now there's this new organisation that just rose up out of the blue for some reason, which was just stupid. I mean, to me, the Terminator franchise may as well just be T1 and 2, and then just forget anything else ever existed. Again, unless I've missed something, I've only seen the film once, so please let me know down below in the comments. Still to this day, I've only seen it once. Are Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton. I just had to cut that. Yeah. I still do that sometimes, like I stutter in some of my videos and I leave some stutters in if I find it funny. Last bit out. Anyway, the banter between them back and forth is incredible, as she's like, I'm gonna kill you when all this is over. He's like, I understand. Just great seeing them both back on screen after all this time. What confused me is, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the T-800 is supposed to be like a robot, right? How does he even age in this film? And I don't think he'd ever clarified that. But again, as I said in that review, and I'm saying it now, I've only seen it once, so I can't be 100% sure. Like Linda Hamilton is still a badass, even at her age right now. Arnold Schwarzenegger's great. Without the two in the franchise, I don't think the franchise particularly works, as we've known in the past. Terminator Salvation didn't have either of them. Terminator Genesis had Arnold Schwarzenegger, but not Linda Hamilton. You replace Sarah Connor with Emilia Clarke, and you complete. The thing is, I say that, but I still haven't seen Terminator Salvation or Terminator Genesis to this day. So in this review, I'm kind of acting like I've already seen it to try and sound a little more intelligent than I actually am. The whole thing up. The banter's... No, wait, did I just bleep the swearing? The whole thing up. The banter's hilarious between the two, okay. But in the franchise, I don't think the franchise particularly works, as we've known in the past. Terminator Salvation didn't have either of them. Terminator Genesis had Arnold Schwarzenegger, but not Linda Hamilton. You replace Sarah Connor with Emilia Clarke, and you complete the whole thing up. Oh, yeah, basically, the reason why I bleeped my swearing sometimes back then was because my mum found my channel, and then she was like, oh, I don't want to hear you swear. And I was like, oh, okay, Mum, I'll censor the videos just so you can watch them. But now it's like, Mum, sorry, Mum, fuck it. In my channel, I can fucking swear if I fucking want to. The banter's hilarious between the two, but what let down the film for me was that they have a new character called Grace. Anyway, so Grace is a badass. Like, she's an interesting character in terms of actions. Like, an interesting character in terms of actions. What does that even mean? Okay, I think what I mean here is basically Grace's character was entertaining during the action scenes, but in terms of characterization, there's not really a lot to her, to be completely honest. And the other character, Danny, I think her name is, not much to her either. It just felt really forced when they like, she's the new leader of this resistance sort of thing, and it just felt really forced to me. Some of the fight scenes that she uses a chain to chop Terminators in half. She's fighting against this new Terminator who's a bit lame in terms of villainous aspects. They've got a new character, a Mexican girl called Danny now. I thought her acting was fine, but what lets the film down is the writing. The writing is not all that great. No, the writing isn't all that great, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with the actress that plays Danny. I thought she was pretty good with some of the delivery that she was given, but obviously when the writing's that bad, it's not really going to go anywhere. Like, for example, if you've seen the Star Wars prequels, there's some pretty fantastic actors in there. I mean, Ewan McGregor, Samuel L. Jackson, and everything like that. Great actors, but when you're given a script as bland as the prequels, then it's not going to translate on screen as well. Some really sloppy lines of dialogue, and they'll just be like, if the writing was a little better, maybe it could have upped the stakes and it could have upped the emotion a little bit like that, because Linda Hamilton's performance is great as Sarah Connor, but with the writing just a little bit better, because it was great in T2. I think in Dark Face she's a little, bland in places. I mean, it was fun seeing her again, don't get me wrong, and I think her and Arnold Schwarzenegger were probably the most entertaining part of the film, but as I'm clearly stating right here, the writing in the film wasn't good. I mean, I'm being too kind to Terminator Dark Fate in this video, but yeah. I dived a little deep into her emotions and how she's dealing with her son being dead and how she has to work with Arnold Schwarzenegger now to take out this new Terminator. It would have been a little more interesting with better writing. So Danny is now the new resistance leader. Now, it's kind of hard for me to get invested in this sort of thing because throughout the entirety of T1 and T2, it's built up John Connor being this saviour of the world, this leader of the human resistance. Now they just shoved this girl in right here. And I'm not saying this because she's a girl, there's nothing wrong with that at all. You have to clarify that, otherwise YouTube will cancel you. But it's kind of hard to get invested in a new character and buy in the fact that she's this new leader when you just shove her in there right now. It felt so goddamn rushed. It was like, hey, she's the leader now, deal with it. It's like... Yeah, I totally stand by that point as well. It felt really off. It's like Terminator 1 and 2, John Connor is the saviour of the human race, and now it's like suddenly he's not anymore. You need to focus on this new person entirely. And there's not a lot of characterization to her. Her story's not that interesting. It did feel really forced and a bit rushed. So I still stand by that point. Oh, okay. Don't give my mind time to process or anything like that. It's just the same thing again. But John Connor, we had 2 films, although we never actually saw the guy in person until T3, but that's not even relevant anymore. So we now have to face the fact that this girl is now the leader of the human resistance, and you're just like, okay. I grew up with John Connor. Fucking sirens. Since the 80s, being the leader of the resistance. So this is going to be a little hard for me to buy. I grew up since the 80s as this person as the leader of the resistance. I wasn't born in the 80s. I was born in 1991. I'm 29 years old. So, wait. I'm pretty sure I correct myself. I'm not sure. And it was hard for me to buy. I wasn't born in the 80s. That was just specifying something there. But overall, people can say what they want about the writing, the corny writing, the over-the-top acting, like Grace not being much to her, Danny being just forced. But it doesn't disappoint in its action scenes. Now, I can't really... The thing is with his action scenes, they are like explosive and crazy and over-the-top as usual. But if you really think about it, look back on T1 and T2. T1, the police station scene, amazing. T2, the motorcycle chase, amazing. But if you look back on Dark Fate, can you really remember a memorable action scene which was so gripping that you would put it in your top tier list of, you know, most exhilarating action scenes of all time? Because I really can't when it comes to Dark Fate. Like the first 2 I can. So yeah, like the action was alright. I mean, it was still a bit you know, compared to the first 2 it's nothing. I did tell you a remarkable memorable action scene, but I can tell you when they are on screen, they're a lot of fun to watch. It's got all that crazy over-the-topness that a Terminator film is known to, so it doesn't really let down in that aspect. That's right, my hand gestures. It's got that crazy over-the-top stuff going on right there. But overall, Terminator Dark Fate, I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, so I'm going to give it a C. Fuck a C, mate. It's going to be a goddamn E, man. An E. An E. An E for get educated. So the second review that I'm going to look at is my Aladdin review. Now I did a speed round review of Aladdin 2019, and I remember praising it, I think, but I have watched it since a couple more times, and the film just gets worse and worse and worse, just like any other Disney remake, really. It's far from the worst, though. Like, I still think the worst Disney remake to this day is The Lion King. The Lion King boiled my blood in ways that I didn't even imagine. Like, Mount Doom didn't have shit on how hot my blood was that day. So let's check this out. Classic Monster Mango Loco. Oh, that's the stuff. Hello, you beautiful people. It's so good to see you all again. Okay, today I'm going to give you a speed round review. For those who don't know, a speed round review is a film I'm going to review, but I don't have that much to say about it, so I'm going to... Yeah, speed run reviews were probably the easiest things that I used to make, but I've sort of lost passion for reviews that are that short now. Like, I prefer to stretch out a video a little longer, maybe like 10 to 15 minutes tops, because it feels kind of underwhelming to see a review that short. I mean, it depends on the person, really. I mean, I know Jeremy Johns does videos which are about that short, maybe a tad bit longer, but that's his particular style, and he does it well. Like, me, in general, I think I benefit more from just longer videos. I mean, yeah, just stuff like that. Talk about it as fast as I can within a 1 to 2 minute time frame. So, without further ado, let's get on with the review. Fuck me, I could have turned down the volume on that. Fuck. Okay. Aladdin is the live-action remake of 1992's Disney classic that we've all grown to love over the years, and I actually enjoyed it. Now, the casting choices... I did enjoy it. Let me clarify on the word, did enjoy it. For the most part, were all really well picked. Mina Massoud is a very likeable, charming version of this character, something which is slightly different to what we saw in the cartoon. Not really. I mean, the one in the cartoon was charming and charismatic as well. Now, Mina Massoud, I liked the guy. I thought he was fine. Will I remember this performance going down in the history of, like, him? Probably not, especially not if he goes and does bigger projects, better films. This is not one which I'd particularly, like, remember. Naomi Scott's portrayal of Jasmine is one of my favourites of this entire film. She's more uncompromising and strong-willed than she was in the cartoon, not just the damsel in distress. And oh my... Yeah, that's true. Jasmine was a little more strong-willed in this film, like, stood up for what she believed in. It wasn't just like, oh, save me, save me, save me. It was, she pretty much stood up and was the voice for Agrabah, I think. Like, she would tell people to, you know, fuck no, you're not doing that. I don't think you should do that. You know what? Strong-willed. I like Naomi Scott, but I think the reason why I praised her performance so much in this film, it's not actually that memorable. I think I was just seriously crushing on her at the time. Maybe I still am. Anyway. Oh my god, her voice is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Perfect casting choices for the two of them. The best thing about... Good casting choices. I wouldn't say perfect, but good, yes. And I'm not going to lie, Naomi Scott's voice is really, really good. I mean, the song... what the fuck's the song called again? Is it called I Won't Be Silent or something like that? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I like that song. Really good. This entire film is Will Smith's genie. Now, this is the one which we were all worried about going into the film, worried that he would destroy sort of Robin Williams' shadow and make this whole thing a joke. But I actually thought Will Smith was a great genie. He's nothing remotely like Robin Williams, but Smith brought a version to the screen which was different and made it his own, and it worked. His own version worked. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Will Smith didn't try to be Robin Williams, which I think is actually a really, really good thing, because I've seen this happen so many times in media, where like a new actor, a new actor will play a version of an old character and try and replicate that character, but Will Smith completely, totally different, and he made it his own, and it worked for the most part. But better than Robin Williams? No, not by a complete landslide, no. While still paying tribute and staying true to the original. Plus, with several different tweaks to the film, it doesn't feel like a beat-for-beat remake of the original like the Beauty and the Beast did. The Beauty and the Beast was... No, it does. There's a couple of changes, but it's not enough to make the film feel like it's different. I mean, this Aladdin film is just a cartoon made worse. Let's be real, it is. Pretty much the same goddamn film, but with this one there's slight tweaks which make it more interesting and more watchable. But with the casting choices for the most part being well picked, I can't say the same for Jafar, I'm afraid. Jafar's just bland. They tried to give him more dialogue and more lines to make him sound more compelling. Yeah, Jafar in the cartoon was so much more compelling than this guy. This guy looks like, you know, the likeable guy, like he's approachable. Like, I wouldn't be that terrified of him if he was actually in front of me. But the cartoon Scar, yeah, that guy gave me nightmares when I was a kid. But there's something missing that made the traits of the original menacing. I tried to shove in some dialogue where he would say something really, really cruel and evil and bad guyish, but for the most part it didn't work. What's a little annoying in some parts is that the movie decided to blow past the opening scene with the Cave of Wonders and the talking tiger mouth thing. The cave just sort of sits there like this, instead of actually moving its mouth. I don't really like what they did with the Yargo either. I mean, I like... Yeah, the cave scene, I think I still agree with that too. It would have been nice to actually see the updated technology and the cave actually move its mouth, but it just sat there still and didn't move at all. I mean, I think it spoke, I can't remember. But yeah, again, this film is just like a worse version of the cartoon. The fact he turned into a giant parrot that was trying to kill Aladdin and Jasmine. But on the other hand, he's just an ordinary parrot. Now, why want a cracker? Sort of parrot. So overall, I think Aladdin is a very charming and fun. You know what? In all my life, I've never actually heard a parrot say, "Polly want a cracker." Like I just never have. Like, where did that joke even come from? Movie, and I think it's better than what people give it credit for, but it's far from perfect. Well shot action and far from good either, mate. Jesus. Great new song added in called "Speechless." Speechless, speechless. Not I won't be silent. Speechless. Yeah. Description. Amazing song. Check it out. I'm gonna give Aladdin a C+. So tell me, guys, what did you think of Aladdin? Down below in the comments. Again, I was way too kind on that film. I do agree with most of it. I still stand by a couple of those points that, Naomi Scott and Mina Masad, they're likeable. Will Smith, I agree with that too. But again, as I've clarified like about 10 times already in just this section of the video, the live-action Aladdin from 2019 is just a bland version of the cartoon. If you want to watch Aladdin, you may as well just watch the cartoon. And everyone, I'm going to react to one more video before I wrap it up because I don't want this video to stretch on for too long. I just want to give you guys something nice and simple to sit through. So I'm going to have a look at my Avengers Endgame video. Now, I remember I was super hyped when I saw it. I loved it when I first saw it. It's declined a little bit in quality since I watched it back in the cinemas in 2019, but I still overall really like the film. Infinity War, I do think, is a better film. So what I'm going to do is take a look at that review right now, but I'm not going to go through all of it because it is like a 12-minute long video. I'm just going to go through some key points. First off, people, what is this? Sort yourselves out, you have no idea what you've done. Yeah, the thing is, like, T-Series are sailing ahead of PewDiePie right now in subscribers, and even Cocomelon overtook PewDiePie. Yeah. Pewds is still the bro, man, like, come on. Hello, you beautiful people, it's so good to be back, finally, after 3 weeks without uploading. The reason being, it's been... Comment down below, does my hair look worse now? Or in that video? The school half-term, and I have a little girl, as many of you know. No, I won't reveal her face. So I haven't really had... Nobody even asked for her face. I'm not sure why I mentioned that, but... Yeah, I'm not revealing her face. Ever. Chance to upload because, you know, live commitments come first. So, this is the film I've wanted to talk about for a while. My most anticipated movie of this year, maybe second place being Star Wars. But literally... Oh, mate, you were in for a huge disappointment when you watched Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Shit me. The other day, as I was going to buy my ticket for a later showing that following night, I walked out of the cinema with my ticket in hand, super buzzing for this, and then suddenly there was a guy shouting spoilers, as most of you have probably seen my... Yeah, I remember that. That was the Iron Man death reveal that this guy just shouted out loud. He was like, "Iron Man dies!" And I was like, "Oh, fuck you, mate." I was screaming at this guy. I was so angry. Oh, God. Yeah, the film still had an impact on me in the end, but God almighty, I was so pissed off that day. Instagram post by now about that, and I wasn't very happy. It's literally like, this and this happens, this and this happens. So as you can tell, I wasn't very nice to the guy, and no, I am not sorry. Still not sorry. Because I've stated it multiple times in statuses and in small videos now, that if you think that someone else's experience is funny, it's going to be completely full of spoilers. Yeah, I know a lot of critics say that as well, but what else are you going to say, really? So Avengers Endgame is directed by the Russo brothers and is a collaboration of all the heroes that we have grown to love over the years. Now, with the way my reviews work, I don't go onto different sections and talk about negatives, positives, mixed feelings about it, and then give it a rank. I just go along with... I do now. I think it's better to structure videos now rather than just say a couple of points here and there and mix it all about a little bit, because if I watch some of my old reviews, they are completely misjointed in places, but I think they're a lot more smooth now. Like, I could still do with some work, obviously. There's no harm in improving, but... Yeah, I think, not to be big-headed, but I think what I make now, I'm definitely more proud of it than what I did when I made back then. Review, go with the flow and see how it goes. So it's a mixture between negatives and positives within the review as I go along. Now particular sections. So a lot of people were releasing these prediction videos about like our theories, who will die, how does it end, does everyone come back, do they not come back? But me, I literally had no idea, no theory whatsoever, because I just didn't know. The Russo brothers have done a fantastic job of keeping me completely blind. And usually, I tell a lie there, I did have one theory, but I just didn't share it. My theory was, since the Infinity War trailer, when it dropped in 2018, showed the Hulk in Wakanda, not the Hulkbuster armor, the Hulk himself. He was running along with Captain America and Black Panther and all that sort of stuff. So I thought that maybe that shot in that trailer was actually from Endgame. And I had a feeling Endgame was going to be about time travel. And when I found out it was, I figured that they would go back in time to that point and find some way to stop Thanos. So I did have one theory, but just didn't share it. It varies whether I can guess what's going to go on or whether I can't or not. But at this point, I didn't know. I didn't see a point in releasing my theory that a couple of you guys did ask. And to answer your question, I didn't really have one because I really didn't know what the fuck was going to go on. If you had an idea, you should share it with your fans. Oh my days. I wanted to go into this film as blind as humanly possible, and if it weren't for the spoilers that were dropped by that stupid kid outside of the cinema, then it would have been an even more enjoyable experience. But Endgame has a way of keeping everything impactful, whether the film's ruined for you or not. Despite the point, don't spoil the movie.
Don't spoil the movie.
Avengers Endgame has one of the most satisfying conclusions to a franchise I have ever seen. Not that the MCU is gonna stop at this point, because obviously
it still doesn't have shit on Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry, that conclusion is epic and the best, and everyone else is wrong but me.
It's the biggest franchise in the world around by now. Endgame has grossed, what, billions of dollars within its first weekend? Them stopping anytime soon. But this is the conclusion to
Did
phase...
you see that then? Hang on. Right there, I'm looking down at my script. I could have cut that out.
The conclusion to phase 3, so we have a very satisfying ending. Yes, the movie is actually 3 hours long, but for some reason it has a way of keeping you invested. It doesn't feel boring, doesn't feel like you're getting sucked out of it at any point. You're just invested.
I agree with that. Endgame, it is a long film, but I think it kind of needed to be for what it was trying to go for. And yeah, I was never bored throughout the entire film. Like, everything was just entertaining from start to finish. The emotional scenes, the action scenes, character arcs, opening and closing, just really, really good stuff. But not all of it's perfect, obviously.
Endgame is literally like staring at a freshly made bacon sandwich right in front of you, and there's a timer going down on your clock into the time you can eat it, and it says you've got to stare at this sandwich the entire time and then you can finally eat it. It is like that. It keeps you that invested. That is a terrible comparison.
I think back then I was trying to work on my jokes, and even right now I don't think my jokes are all that good. I just laugh at myself. Like, I just think I'm really, really stupid. Not intelligent, just like, you know, random and, you know, a cunny funt.
The only little nitpick I have with the runtime entirely is the fact that there are certain montages and certain scenes in it which don't necessarily have to be there. One scene in particular is that Hawkeye is fighting Shinjin Yashida from The Wolverine. Not the same character, but you get my point here. So yeah, but he's in it. But then again, as I stated these are just nitpicks.
Oh, wait, what did I say?
In particular is that Hawkeye is fighting time entirely is the fact that there are certain montages and certain scenes in it which don't necessarily have to be there. One scene...
Okay, so I completely take that back. I do apologise. The Hawkeye scene, I believe, has some relevance there because it shows that Barton is no longer this guy that he used to be, and he's finding this form of like killing bad guys to try and ease the pain of losing his family. So I think that's a really, really important part of that character, and so no, it wasn't meaningless, and yes, it definitely deserves a spot in this film.
In particular is that Hawkeye is fighting Shinjin Yashida from The Wolverine.
Not the same character, but you get my point. That guy was also in Army of the Dead. Oh god, what a shit show. Here. So yeah, but he's in it. But then again, as I stated these are just nitpicks. Because I get that they're short and they feel pretty pointless at times, and the film has a way of just throwing these at you and trying to make you care. But no. Hard disagree with myself there. Most scenes in Endgame, every scene in Endgame has relevance, and every scene worked. There are just a couple of plot elements which are a bit misjointed in terms of the time travel and other stuff like that. But no. Shut up, Jim Bob. I understand that these small scenes are essential to the plot. Well, if they're essential to the plot, then they're not problems. I don't know why I said that. Essential to the characters and what they've been going through within this 5-year time gap. I was completely blown away by the fact that this film is not just about getting back at Thanos for snapping 50% of all living life out of existence. This is a story about character. And he killed John Wick's dog. Growth and what they've been through over the last 10 years and what they've been doing within this 5-year gap. But yeah, that's always been one of the things that I've appreciated most about Avengers Endgame, is that they kind of sacrificed loads and loads of blockbuster action scenes and popcorn movie moments for the emotional punch. It very much focused on its characters. It's a character movie, basically. Particularly the two characters which I thought stood out the most with the growth aspect of it is Tony Stark and Nebula. I immediately noticed a change in Nebula's character in the first 10 minutes of the film, where Tony Stark falls asleep on the ship, and then Nebula comes over and sits him up into a more comfortable position. Would the Nebula back in 2014's Guardians of the Galaxy, when we first saw her do that? I think not. Nebula's character development was really good in the film. It didn't start in this film though. It started pretty much in Guardians 2, which showed a more humanized version of herself, and the bond that she eventually formed with Gamora, and then obviously there was Infinity War as well. So yeah, Nebula was a standout to me in this film. So was Tony Stark and Steve Rogers as well. I think those three were the standouts. Isn't the same Nebula, and I think that she was one of the standout characters in this entire film. Yeah, I just said that. Was Tony Stark. Those two characters particularly stood out more than the rest. They started singing Tina Turner then. Maybe I shouldn't. You're simply the best! Because people would be like, I'm sorry! I'm sorry. Okay, I'm good. Nebula, in a way, has grown as a character and become an essential member to the Avengers or the Guardians, whichever one she's on. Tony Stark, on the other hand, is the one that is grieving the loss of Spider-Man. He doesn't know whether Pepper's alive. He's sending these messages to Earth, hoping, praying that she's listening. So he became an essential broken man, and then when he eventually is rescued by none other than Captain Marvel, he doesn't really want to go along with this whole time. Captain Marvel, Jesus. Yeah, my opinion on that character has changed so much since I saw that first film. I'll have to react to my review of Captain Marvel one day. Like, I guarantee that my thoughts now are totally different, completely different on every front. Time travel plan to try and restore everything back to the way it was, because he's had a life in these past 5 years. He's moved in with Pepper. He's staying away from the life of fame and everything. He's got his daughter. But first, he's not completely on board with it. But not to take away the spotlight from anyone else. I'm still looking down at the script. This is so humiliating that I posted this. There is some absolute solid acting in this entire film. Everyone proved that they were rightly cast for this role. Everybody. Even with the ones with limited screen time. The ones that didn't. Yeah, I think I still agree with that. Marvel pretty much never miscasts, if you ask me. Like, I think every Marvel character that's in this franchise has been solid and a perfect casting choice. There is some debate that goes around whether Don Cheadle was a better War Machine than... Now he's got to come back to me. What the fuck is the guy's name? Terrence Howard. Didn't get that much dialogue. It was still engaging and still epic. So the writing was incredibly good, spread out through all of these characters. Even Captain Marvel's screen time is probably the shortest out of all the characters, but she's still a lot more likeable in this one than she is in her solo outing. Yeah, like, I think Captain Marvel was more tolerable in Endgame than she was in Captain Marvel. I mean, that's probably because there was less of her. Now, there's no judgment to Brie Larson here. I think Brie Larson is a great actress. I think that she's super talented. Captain Marvel, I just think was written so badly. I just didn't give a shit about her by the time Endgame came out. And yeah. But even with the essential confusing time travel aspect... Is that like a personal attack or something? ...to the film, it gave us a chance to revisit some of the older MCU films that we've grown to love over the years. It gave us that... Because of fan service. I'm joking. Feeling of nostalgia, it gave our characters a chance to reflect on past decisions and past characters, revisiting characters which have died in the past and seeing them again. Oh, I like that. I really do like that. First off, you get Thor like spotting his mother again. You get Tony Stark spotting his dad again. Yeah, the Tony Stark and Howard Stark moment was one of my favourite interactions in Endgame. I thought that was a beautiful scene because obviously Tony hasn't seen his dad in since 1991. December 16th, 1991. No, Mission Report, December 16th, 1991. Yeah, and so I think their interaction was the most touching. I mean, Thor with his mum was also nice, but I definitely think that Howard and Tony top the character interactions in this film. Doing a little bonding session, which was of course my favourite of the entire thing. But I was confused with the lack of Thanos in the trailer and the marketing towards, leading up to this entire film. But there's... Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I was confused, because it was kind of obvious that Endgame will be more focused on the Avengers getting back at Thanos rather than more about Thanos. I mean, it would have been nice to see a little more of him because he was literally super epic in Infinity War. Maybe, I would have been fine if they stretched out Endgame's runtime for just an extra 15-20 minutes and just fill it up with Thanos stuff. There's a silver lining for everything in the MCU, as I've grown to notice over the years. They never seem to disappoint. Oh, maybe once.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Yeah, the classic PewDiePie little line that I used to use in my videos quite a lot. Yeah, like now I prefer to use Uncle from the Jackie Chan Adventures to clarify my last point. So when there's like one more point that I need to mention in a video, I'll put a clip of Uncle going, one more thing, and then just say my last point and then end the video. Yeah, but it used to be PewDiePie. Speculate, like, how did Thanos survive the snap? How did he survive Stormbreaker being rammed into his chest? How? But then when the film opened up and Thanos' head was completely decapitated by Thor within the first 15 minutes, I thought, shit, is that it? Maybe Thanos isn't the bad guy after all. But no, he is. It's in fact 2014's Thanos from Guardians of the Galaxy that is the main villain, and I thought, wow, thank God that Thanos is still the main villain, because if you just introduce somebody new immediately like that, the film's going to get a bit confusing. But I think the Rise of Skywalker did that. Like, the first two films in the sequel trilogy built up Snoke being the big bad guy, and then obviously Rian Johnson went off and killed him, and so they had to bring another guy in for the final film, and they were like, oh, we have no bad guy, let's just bring back Palpatine because he's a super powerful, all-powerful Sith. And, oh gee, why am I ranting about the Rise of Skywalker? I'm reacting to an Endgame review here. Oh, like and comment if you want me to also react to my Rise of Skywalker video as well, because I did defend that quite a bit as well. Like, there's going to be some things which I disagree on now. Others have a way of just piecing everything together beautifully. Josh Brolin, once again, is fantastic as Thanos. He didn't get as much on-screen presence as he did in Infinity War, but he was still one of the standout performances of the entire film. Yeah. And once again, you feel there's a threat towards... Yeah, I think Thanos in Endgame and Infinity War, I think he definitely became one of my all-time favourite villains at that point. Like, he's up there with Darth Vader and the Joker and Hans Gruber from Die Hard, because I think he's just so menacing, and there's a sense of danger that any of the heroes could die at any point. And yeah, I wouldn't quite put him at the top. I'd say the Joker is probably at the top. It's kind of difficult. I'm still umming and ahhing about it. I'll have to think about it for a future video or a post or something like that. There are characters here. There's danger. One of them could die. There's no way that the hero just said that as well. Burst out and save the day and rise above the odds. There is an actual threat, and they could die. And yes, there are character deaths in this film, and it's very, very sad. It impacted me a lot more than it did with Infinity War. Bearing in mind there are less deaths in this film than there are in Infinity War. But even with that... Yeah, I think the most impactful death of the MCU was probably Gamora in Infinity War. I think that's the one that got me the most. No, actually, Tony Stark's death got me the most, and second was Gamora. I thought Gamora's death was a bit sadder than Black Widow's. Black Widow's sort of came out of nowhere. It was like, okay, we need someone to die, so let's just pick someone to die, and Black Widow was that for some reason. I mean, I really don't know. It was still sad, but it just kind of seemed a bit shoehorned in, but yeah. Without the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos is still a danger and a force to be reckoned with. So despite some minor pacing issues, Endgame ends on a spectacular note. An absolute huge ass note, everyone. The ending battle between Thanos' forces and the Avengers and their forces is some of the best army versus army massive battle montages I've seen since probably The Lord of the Rings. Not to say that this film is better than the Lord of the Rings trilogy. To me, that franchise, that trilogy is untouchable. But this comes dangerously close. It's like the little borderline between the two, just like the little gap right there.
No. There's no borderline between Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings sails above anything to me.
Between the two of them. So the short version is the Avengers go back in time, gather all the Infinity Stones, snap, everyone's back. Thanos uses his forces to try and regain the Infinity Stones because the Avengers have them now, and he wants to do the same again. But not.
Cool. I rambled on a little bit, so I'm just going to skip ahead slightly.
Just to cry. I mean it. I bubbled like a baby, but I tried to keep it on the low because I didn't want to disturb people. Well, the arsehole behind me didn't really care. So Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, the arsehole behind me. I remember that. He was talking, and I asked him politely if he could be quiet. Because, excuse me, mate, can you be quiet, please? And his response was, "Yo, are you talking to me, bruv?" So I thought, oh, for fuck's sake. But luckily, the dude's girlfriend, who was sitting next to him, actually defended me and told her boyfriend to shush. I was like, if your girlfriend's on my side, then you must be an arsehole.
Is the brilliant conclusion to everything that we've loved and gained and lost throughout the 11 years that the MCU has been a thing. And even Steve Rogers got an emotional send-off. He goes back in time. He spends his life with Peggy.
Yeah, that's one scene that I take issue with. I mean, I love the idea of it, but maybe if the time travel was, like, told differently, like if the time travel aspect was explained differently, written differently to how it was in this, because if you think about it, if you can't change the past by, if you can't change your future by going to your past, which clearly is what the Hulk stated, then Steve Rogers wouldn't have been able to end up on that same bench as Sam talking to him, giving him the shield. Like, it would be a completely different timeline, wouldn't it? I mean, that's how I see it anyway. And I think there's little holes in the time travel aspect of this film, and that's what made it dip a little bit to me. I think they are legitimate problems, but subjectively, I just don't care about them that much to dislike the film. Like, just, yeah.
Passes the shield onto Sam. That's Falcon if people don't know. There's a few confusing elements, but what movie with time elements doesn't get confusing? People are still trying to put together Back to the Future after all these years.
Herself, but
Big
as
Bang
soon as he
Theory.
does that, he changes the future. So the 2015 he returns to would be a different 2015, not the 2015 that Marty and Doc were in.
So everyone, tell me, what did you think of Avengers Endgame down below in the comments? But I'm gonna give Avengers Endgame an S.
Oh shit! I really need to work on my audio in these old videos. Yeah, an S ranking. Would I still give it an S ranking? Probably not. I think it's dipped to an A minus now, which is still relatively high in my ranking systems because I have letter gradings for my reviews at the moment. I might change it to something else and try to be a little more creative with it. But yeah. So overall, guys, those are the films which I'm going to be talking about today. Well, sorry, the videos that I'm reacting to from myself today. If you want to see more stuff like this, I will be more than happy to do it because I've had a lot of fun making this video. It's just nice to just sit there and just talk and engage with my audience and just react and cringe at myself rather than sit down and do the complex work of scripting and editing and publishing and everything like that. It's just nice to do something so simple. But this isn't going to be a regular thing that I do. Okay, this isn't going to be the main focus of the channel, and I state that every single time I make a video, which is slightly different to how I usually structure it.
So yeah, this is going to be... I'm going to make filler videos like this. Filler videos in terms of just me reacting to something, me talking about a little topic, or maybe a Movie Bros podcast or something like that. Again, if you want to collaborate on Movie Bros with me, let me know in my Instagram DMs. Or Snapchat, I have Snapchat now. So yeah, that's all for today, guys. I hope you liked it. As always, I hope you enjoy your day. If you like what I do here, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Remember, it's not just a movie, it's an experience. Take care, everyone, and stay awesome.